Hello and welcome to Ukraine's Week Ahead by KI Insights. My name is Adam Sibera and I will walk you through everything you need to watch over the next 7 days. The crisis in the Middle East is likely to intensify next week with serious implications for Ukraine due to critical shortages of missile interceptors and the risk of a global energy shock. President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Ukraine is ready to assist the United States in countering Iranian Shahed drones following a request from Washington. This could include deploying Ukrainian specialists with experience in countering such systems. At the same time, serious delays in U.S. missile interceptor deliveries are expected, as American stockpiles are rapidly depleting. According to various estimates, the United States could run out of interceptor missiles within weeks. European countries are anticipating delays in the delivery of Patriot air defense systems as the United States and Gulf countries mainly use PAC-2 and PAC-3 interceptors to counter Iranian strikes. Moreover, oil and gas prices are expected to spike, raising concerns about a global economic slowdown and strengthening Russia's fiscal position. Crude oil has posted its sharpest weekly gain since February 2022, while the price of Russian Ural crude has climbed over $70 per barrel. Against this backdrop, the United States has temporarily eased sanctions on Russian oil sales to India to prevent a global price spike and potential supply shortages. Finally, the war in the Middle East has also led to the indefinite postponement of the next set of trilateral talks. The negotiations, scheduled to take place in Abu Dhabi in the coming days, will not proceed as planned, and no new date has yet been set. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has expressed frustration with Zelensky, accusing him of not being willing to negotiate with Russia. Back in Europe, tensions between Hungary and Ukraine are expected to continue escalating next week, as Prime Minister Viktor Orban makes Ukraine a central part of his electoral campaign. Viktor Orban is demanding that Ukraine restore operations of the damaged Druzhba pipeline, which supplies Russian crude oil to Hungary and Slovakia. Kyiv has reported that on 5th of March, Hungarian authorities detained 7 Ukrainian citizens, employees of the state-owned bank, during their business trip. The Ukraine Foreign Ministry has advised Ukrainian citizens to refrain from traveling to Hungary. Can democratic societies defend themselves against disinformation without sacrificing openness? In this episode of Ukraine Insights, we speak with Peter Pomerantsev about Russia's information strategy in the war against Ukraine, the export of chaos as a geopolitical tool, and why the battle for truth today is no longer about facts alone. Watch on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Next week, the Eurogroup will meet on March 9th, followed by the EU Economic and Financial Affairs Council on March 10th. The European Union continues to explore ways to overcome Budapest's veto on a 90 billion EU loan package for Ukraine. Although a solution has not yet been found, hopes are to reach an agreement before the meeting of EU leaders on March 19th. It also remains unclear whether Kyiv will allow an inspection of the damaged Druzhba pipeline as demanded by Hungary and Slovakia. Earlier this week, EU ambassadors rejected a European Commission proposal to fast-track Ukraine's EU accession, which could have opened the door to membership as early as 2027. Instead, EU leaders are expected to reaffirm the Union's merit-based accession process at the European Council meeting on March 19th. Previously, Zelensky said that setting a clear timeline for Ukraine's EU membership would be among Kyiv's conditions for signing a potential peace agreement. An informal meeting of EU defense ministers will take place in Cyprus from March 11th to March 12th. Amid the escalation in the Middle East, several EU countries are coordinating efforts to provide military support to Cyprus. EU officials are monitoring renewed tensions between Greece and Turkey, which have intensified amid the regional crisis. The main risk for Ukraine is the diversion of air defense assets, which are now also needed to protect allies. The European Parliament will hold its plenary session from March 9th through March 13th. On March 11th, members of the European Parliament are scheduled to debate preparations for the March 19th and 20th European Council Summit, with Ukraine listed among the issues to be discussed. Also, Parliament is set to hold an urgent debate on human trafficking and serious human rights violations linked to the recruitment of non-Russian nationals, particularly from African countries, for Russia's war against Ukraine. Plenary sessions of the Ukrainian Parliament are also scheduled for next week. The agenda includes the ratification of financial agreements under the European Investment Bank programs, improving the road network under the EU Solidarity Lanes initiative, and digital emergency response services. Lawmakers are also expected to ratify an agreement on technical and financial cooperation with Slovakia, as well as an agreement on cooperation in Ukraine's recovery with Switzerland. In Ukraine, March 9th marks the anniversary of the birth of the national poet Taras Shevchenko, and coming up on March 19th is the Day of the Ukrainian Volunteer, honoring those who volunteered to defend the country. This podcast is a shortened version of KI Insights public newsletter, The Week Ahead. Subscribe to start your week with an agenda of Ukraine-related events delivered directly to your inbox every week. Just follow the link in the description. If you're interested in Ukraine-related conferences and events, we're also leaving links to those in the description. Thank you for listening to the Ukraine Insights podcast. To be notified of future episodes, please subscribe and hit the notifications button. For more analysis, insights, and research, check KI Insights accounts on X, Blue Sky, and LinkedIn. To subscribe to our analytical products, please visit our website insights.kievindependent.com. Have a great week.